Welcome to the Code with Jason meetup. Today we have another new mentee, Kyle Law. Kyle, welcome.
Welcome. I'm a senior Ruby on Rails full stack Hotwire developer. So yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, good to have you here. And you and I, Kyle, had a chance to talk one-on-one the other day. So I know a little bit about you, but can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? You live in Malaysia, right?
Yeah, currently staying in Malaysia and currently working remotely. I've been working remotely since COVID. So it's very fortunate that I made it to my current company since COVID. Yeah, basically that's pretty much about me. That I've been drill into Rails, full stack Rails all the ways, and Hotwire is my specialty, I guess. I'll say. And I think one part about me is I'm at the moment probably better than AI in terms of Hotwire. So yeah, that is probably why I'm still quite relevant in this tech stack.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something I'm confident to say about. Yeah.
Okay. Um, did you have something that you wanted to work on today?
I did actually did just did a very interesting. Because why I've been saying that I am a fan of, not a fan of. I've been trying to hone my system design skill part.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a URL shortener with Rails just now. On top of that, URL shortener, I did it with DynamoDB from AWS. So there's one tiny project that I was just work on. And yeah, I'm ready to show that if you
Okay.
guys are keen. Yeah, just
Yeah.
to
Let me
yeah,
change the
cause
sharing permissions, and if you like, you can go ahead and share your screen.
okay, cool. All right. So basically, this is the very simple app. It's a very simple Rails full stack app.
Hmm.
That the gist of it is that you pass in URL, and after that you shorten it, then you get a link. I haven't finished that, but the functionality is done. In terms of UI, I haven't finished it. I haven't refined it, but basically, for example, if I pass to this, okay, let me try to split the screen side by side. So let me try to enlarge it. So if
Hmm.
I shorten this URL, I'll get this response. I'll get this this hash. And then if I pass it to the host path, I'll get redirected to this part. So basically, this is how it works. And on top of this is actually the backend is backed by DynamoDB. This is a DynamoDB by in AWS, and yeah, this is what I've just okay, let me check. Let me refresh it. So if I search for this, I can see that the short URL and the original URL is over here. So this is basically that's it. Yeah, something I would like to. That's some interesting part I have done today for today.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And
Yeah.
is there any part of the project you're wanting to improve or something like that?
Um,
Or did you want
I
to add to the
would.
project?
Uh, yeah, actually, after I finish this the feature, I take a look, take a search, I take a look on whatever tools we have, and then I found this ORM because like normally in Rails we can query like Rails create, Rails find, but in if you use another table that is not supported by default by active record, then we have to create this ourselves, right? So probably this could be one of the improvement that I'd like to add on, add this gem in, and then I'd like to remove this part maybe. But it's not a priority. I mean, I mean, I'm currently at the moment I am yeah I'm still I'm quite kind of satisfied with the feature and the DynamoDB table interaction I got. Uh, yeah, yep. So yeah, we can hold in, or we can start a new system design project if we have the time. Not, yeah, I was,
Okay.
yeah, I was just, uh,
Yeah, well, here's a thought for you, Kyle,
yep,
and maybe you like this idea, maybe you don't. Either way is totally fine.
yep,
But you mentioned the possibility of like starting a new project. Um, there's an exercise that I went through recently that maybe we could go through that I think could give you an opportunity to learn you some to help you learn some object-oriented design principles. And so
okay,
we could try that. The exercise that I went through was a feature that I needed to build for my CI tool that I'm working on. Um, it was an ASCII table with columns that were aligned, which
okay.
is actually a little bit harder than it might sound. So we could do something like that if you like.
Yeah, sure, sure. I'm up for that. Sure.
Okay. Okay. So first, why don't we grab some data from somewhere? Maybe there's like some kind of free API where we can get some tabular data.
Okay. Has to be relational data, is it? Is it?
No, I just mean a table where there's two dimensions, could be anything at
Okay.
all.
Yeah. Okay, let me check.
Yeah,
Mm,
you can go ahead and share your screen again and we can find some API
okay.
data source together.
Sounds okay. Let me share my screen. Right.
Or, we could probably
So
even, oh, what is this?
I just quick Google it, and this is some of the top solution, top recommendation I
Okay.
got
We could probably actually ask ChatGPT just to give us some data
yeah,
in like a CSV format.
about
How about like
programming.
how about the tallest 20 buildings in the world and some of the statistics about them? One of which I believe is in your home country.
I see. Hopefully, let's check. Mm, interesting. So let me try to stop some of the. All right.
Yeah, and maybe we can make a new directory to put this project in while we're waiting for ChatGPT's response.
Yep. Sure. Is it gonna be a Rails project or it's gonna be a
Just Ruby.
what should it be named?
Um,
OP exercise.
sure.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Okay. And then what should we get for this? Oh, CSV.
It's really
Okay.
thinking hard about those buildings.
So what is going to be the output for for this project? What's going to be the output of it?
Yeah, good question. Why don't you open up a new text file in Vim and
Yeah.
we can kind of show our expected output.
Okay. So uh, uh okay, here we are.
Yeah. So maybe the first column could be name. Yeah, and
Yep.
then like we can put some data in there manually, like Burj Khalifa, that's the tallest one, so we could put that one in there.
Okay. What is the sorry? What did you? What is the tallest one? Oh, sorry. Here we got. I'm so
Oh, there we
surprised
go.
that we can download file from it. I was actually expecting it to return like comma separated values, and
Yeah,
actually it got CSV to be downloaded. That's a surprise.
I'm
Yeah,
kind of
now we got
surprised too.
this. That was
Okay,
that
great.
was so surprised.
That's exactly what I was hoping for.
Oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I see Malaysia has not just one, but two. It counted the Petronas Towers
Oh,
as
okay.
two separate buildings.
Oh, oh, I see. Because okay, that just a quick one. I'm from Malaysia, and then Petronas Tower is look like this. Basically, they are joined together, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they are regarded as two tower of it. But actually, they are considered one as a local, I would say.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Well, ChatGPT,
Oh.
you're wrong.
Yeah. Okay, let's try to move this in. Tallest building. Okay, we got this. What
Okay.
next? What's next? Interesting.
Yeah. So if we go to like our output file,
Okay. Here is the output file.
yeah, you could
Let
actually
me
maybe
put it
like
sideways.
copy paste the headings in the first two rows.
Okay. Okay, this one right.
Yeah.
Not sure whether it works. Okay, it
Well,
works.
how
Okay,
about let's
cool.
get the first two rows?
That's two rows. Okay. Yes. That's two rows. So one and two, is it? Okay.
Yeah. And then for the
Do you want it to
output,
be
sorry.
okay? Do you want it to be like comma separated or the delimiter doesn't matter for now?
Well, I think they should be aligned. So first, can you make that window like wider so it doesn't wrap?
Yeah.
Okay.
Me.
Yeah, and so like
Okay.
let's make it so between rank and name there's two spaces.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And then let's make the B in Burj Khalifa. That's annoying that it adds a period. Let's make it so that B aligns with the N in name.
Okay. Got it. Do the same with this, right?
Yeah. And then and then let's make it so there are two spaces between the end of the word Khalifa and Dubai.
Okay. There we go. I'm not sure why is it
Yeah, I find it infuriating.
like that. Yep. But
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, I made a mistake. Shanghai Tower is longer than Burj Khalifa. So let's make two spaces between the R in tower and the S in Shanghai.
Um.
Yeah, just add a space there.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then let's make Dubai, let's make Dubai aligned with Shanghai.
Okay.
Yeah, and then let's make city align with Dubai. There we go. So you can kind of see the pattern now.
Yep. Okay. Let me tidy this up.
But I don't understand why the headings aren't perfectly aligning with the data in the rows.
Why is that?
I don't
Hmm,
know. It's weird.
okay.
Is it
Yeah.
not like actually a fixed width font?
Maybe not. Okay. Let's try to experiment. Like, let's say
What
I
is
added.
this? What is this program you're using right now?
I'm using uh the default text editor of Mac.
Yeah, well, fuck this
Yeah.
program. This program is terrible. How about let's use Vim instead?
Yes. Okay. Um. Yeah. This should looks. Yeah. This is better. Cool. All right, cool. Oh,
Okay,
so
great.
much. Thanks so much.
Yeah, and how about let's have two spaces between country and height, and then two spaces between that right parentheses and floors. Yeah. Yeah, I think we want a minimum of two spaces, otherwise it looks like it's the same column.
Cool.
Um, are there two or three spaces between floors and year of completion?
I think there are
There we go.
three. Let's make it two. All right.
Okay. And actually, Kyle, I think that the numerical ones should be right aligned, don't you think?
Yep. Okay. Shit. All right. Set
Okay,
up.
great. So this is what we're shooting for.
Mm.
And we want to write a program that will convert our CSV to a table like this.
Okay. Um, Interesting. How should we do that? I'm gonna ask ChatGPT for that.
Okay. I'll
Shall
be
we? Shall we?
surprised if ChatGPT gives a very useful answer, but I'm curious what it'll say.
We're gonna write program, so does it limit to any language or anything is fine, right? It's not limited to that.
What do you mean? Like, is
Or
it limited to by
you're gonna
language?
write
Do
a
you mean like
program?
Ruby?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
you can tell that you wanted to use Ruby.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. All right. Given a CSV file, I want to write a Ruby program script or program doesn't matter to convert it into what similar with the pig attached. Then I'm gonna attach this thing to it because I it's quite hard to describe. I mean, for now, I just want to see how it responds to it. Uh,
Yeah. Sadly, I've found that it doesn't do great with screenshots always.
okay. Let's try. I'm not sure. Let's try.
The problem with ChatGPT is it doesn't have a bias toward TDD like I do. And so
Okay.
it'll give you a program, but no tests.
Okay. Um. mm, okay. So to achieve TDD for that. Okay.
Yeah, and if you ask
Uh,
it to help you write this program in a TDD style, it probably won't do a very good job, but we can try.
with mini test or RSpec? I'm not sure.
Let's do our spec.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I'll be keen to take a look of this. So basically, we have it gives this program for now. Um, Terminal table is new to me. I'm surprised to
Me
find
too.
terminal tables. It sounds interesting. So we got TDD here. CSV table formatter is a new. What is this? This is this.
Yeah, and CSV table formatter, no
It
offense,
should be this, right?
ChatGPT, but that's a terrible name.
Yeah. I think what it mentioned is that so it assumes that we wrote a program called with a name called CSV table formatter, and it's trying to compare the output with this. Uh,
Yeah, and it jumps to the very end. Like, there's too big of a gap between where we are now and what this test is expecting. Like, in a sense, this is a valid test. We could, in theory, write this test and run it, watch it fail, then write the code to make it pass, and then watch the test pass. But again, there's too big of a gap between what this test is expecting and what we have.
mm,
So ChatGPT is not very good, at least not yet, at
mm,
applying some discretion regarding what tests to write. So here's what I would suggest, Kyle. Let's
mm,
break the problem down and make it a little simpler for ourselves. Um, Instead of expecting a big table like that, how about let's
mm.
see if we can get a table to work where it just shows the rank and name and that's all.
Oh, okay, so what you meant is just show the first two columns, right?
Yeah,
Cool. Uh, Try and do another prompt for that.
sorry.
Uh, I'm wondering, should I do another prompt for that?
Yeah, sure. Tell it to
Mm,
only use the rank and name columns. And also, how about you like copy paste that text you have there and say that
yeah.
the expected
Okay.
output should be formatted like that. Well,
Okay.
let's not do an image though, because it doesn't do great with images. Let's actually copy paste the text.
Oh, okay. 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 Cool. We got it. Got- I'm sorry.
Oh, that's yeah, that's fine. Then we still need to
Oh,
tell it to only use the first two columns. And it made what I consider another mistake too. Um, it is like tightly coupling the file IO with the formatting, and the test is starting with reading the CSV. And there's no reason why we need to tightly couple those things. If I were writing this test, I would start just with the string that contains the CSV content. The actual file IO can be a separate concern. You know what I mean?
um, what you meant is you wouldn't bother about the file. Yeah. Is that what you
Right.
meant for that? Uh, but actually, it gave I mean the input it trying to test is from a raw CSV data, right? It's not a file. Is it? My understand correctly of your
Well,
concern?
my point
Uh,
is that
yeah.
it's aware of the fact that it's a CSV and it's
Yeah.
involving the business of parsing the CSV.
Oh,
Um,
okay. This
yeah,
line.
and like the job, the job that we're trying to accomplish, I mean, I guess we didn't establish this, but the way that I would approach this part of the project is by saying, all right, I don't want to worry about the fact that the data comes as a CSV because that's like an implementation detail. I just want to worry about the formatting alone.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. You wouldn't bother about the read and write part of the CSV, right? So you're just comparing between the input and output between the text. Is that what you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Um. Okay. Oh shit. I think we
So
can just
we
hit
can say to
start it.
ChatGPT, don't involve the CSV parsing. Just start with data in a no, start with data in the same format that it would be after it came from a CSV, something like that.
So so let me reiterate what you meant is, so for instance we have um mm, oh, okay. Let me just do a quick check of, okay, let's try. Let's just do it and see what here's.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is better. And Kyle, do you understand the benefit of loose coupling?
I'm actually not too sure at the moment. Um, I did understand this context in the context of system design, like for example, we can loosely couple, like we can use SQS or AWS SQS to loosely couple uh a long running query, something like that. We can use Q to decouple the query, the connection. This is one part I read about decoupling, loosely
Mhm.
coupled, to build a loosely coupled system. Or for example, I'm not so sure whether microservices are considered loosely coupled compared to monolith. I'm
Hmm.
not sure whether it is correct in this context, but yeah, maybe basically
Yeah.
have
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I can share my take on it. Um,
yeah.
so things that are tightly coupled, where they're intertwined with one another, often in order to understand, like let's say you have two entities that are tightly coupled with one another. Um, that means that in order to understand one of them, you have to understand
Mm,
both of them because they're interconnected.
mm,
And it often means that in order to change one of them, you need to change the other one, or at least you need to consider the other one as part of the picture in order to change just one. So it makes changes more difficult. But if they're loosely coupled, then you can understand one without necessarily having to understand the other. So it makes it cheaper to understand each part. And then often you can change one part without having to change the other part, which makes it cheaper and easier to make the change. Um, when we're looking at this, now we're not involving the CSV issue anymore. And so we don't have to
mm,
think about the fact that it's a CSV. If we saw that first one, we might see that it starts with CSV reading, and we're like, oh, okay, what's this all about? It has something to do with the CSV, and we would get like distracted by the CSV stuff and would be taken down
mm,
an irrelevant path. Whereas with this, there's nothing to do with the CSV. And so there's nothing that tells us we have to care about that. And so there's less stuff for us to have to try to understand. So that's one of the benefits of that. And, if we, for example, needed to change the input from CSV to some other file format, like let's say we changed it so it comes from a database table instead, that change
mm,
would be relatively easy. We wouldn't have to change the table formatting stuff because it's loosely coupled with its data source.
mm. Got got it. Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. We can see that there is no dimension of CSV from here at all.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
how about let's modify this test still in a couple other ways? How about let's tell us let's tell it only to use the rank and name columns and none of the other ones.
Right.
And then maybe next we can tell it that the name CSV table formatter, it was never a good name in my opinion, and now it's just a total misnomer. How about we just call it table?
Or
I think when there's a class name that ends in ER, that's usually a code smell that tells us that um, the class doesn't really represent a crisp concept.
I see. Yeah, formatter it seems to be like a services in Rails, like exporter or something like that. I do see
Yeah,
similar ER like more class name in Rails that often use services in active job maybe not active job, but for services maybe. Not
yeah,
sure.
for lack of a kinder way to put it, an ER suffix is a sign of laziness. You just take whatever the thing does and add to the end of it rather than thinking of concepts that it actually represents. Okay, so this looks pretty good at this point. Why don't we copy paste that into an RSpec file?
Okay. I it's been a while because I've been using mini tests. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to give step by step
It'll be
to
faster if
put
I
it
just
in.
tell you.
Okay, sure. Well, let me save it first, and then now we got. Now I'm at this directory, and what should we get? Let me open it up. All right. Uh, yep.
Yeah, so let's start with
That's
a file called tablespec.rb.
okay. Spec RB,
Yeah,
and then we
paste in
could
what
copy this
ChatGPT
part.
gave us.
Okay, cool. And next we need, I guess it's table.rb.
Oh, let's
Yep.
not use this.
Okay,
Let's not even
cool.
create table.rb yet.
Okay, that's okay, cool. Now we got this.
Yeah. Now, in order to have RSpec, let's create a gem file.
Um, I should run just created. I'm not sure whether gem init works.
Sorry.
It doesn't work. I forgot about what's the
Oh,
command.
I don't know if I even knew about that.
It's okay. I'm just gonna copy and paste. I uh because there should be a source of something in the gem,
Yeah,
but
we only need that first line.
yeah, actually yes.
Yeah, and
Okay,
then we can do gem RSpec.
I think that's. Let's try
Oh, we just got
to
a little
bundle
typo
it.
there.
Where is it?
You have
Oh,
GME
sorry.
instead of GEM. There you
Okay,
go.
okay, we got it. So we got
Okay,
our
great.
spec. Let's try to run it. What should
Try
it?
bundle exec RSpec.
What, sorry for my rustiness with our spec.
That's okay.
That should be table or spec. Table spec. Okay, cool. We
Okay,
got
great.
the result.
Okay. Cannot load such file, blah, blah, blah. Not surprising since that file doesn't exist. So how about let's create it?
Okay. Just trying to find this file. Let's try to run again. It should be okay. I think the how to open it shouldn't be spec and then put it in. Or A, we put this into spec. B, we can change this to this, I guess. We're just
Yeah.
trying to, what should we opt for?
Yeah, let's just
Should
put
you
it in
move it?
spec. I was gonna have us do that eventually anyway.
Let's see.
So we can just do that now.
I think one of the part I did as a Rails developer, I do BE as a
Oh yeah.
alias of,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so just to show to our, to, so basically we have this shortcut to run, check, what is the, again, this see. So I got this. Basically BE is bundle exec. So for now onwards, we are basically gonna be bundle exec
Mm-hmm.
and run spec. Let's just try run this. Okay, it works. Different errors we got. Okay,
Okay,
cool.
uninitialized constant table. Let's fix that.
So to fix this, I think we can just put a class table to it and
Yeah.
let's try to run it. Okay, so we got a different error. Uh, here we go.
Wrong number
Okay.
of arguments.
Okay, given. So what it meant is that it's trying to call with the data argument, but in this class we don't have that argument. So we need to pass in this part to say that,
Yeah.
hey, to call this table we need an
But
argument for
let's only
passing
add enough
this stuff.
code to make the failure message go away.
Okay, cool. I
And
think
do
it
you know
should
why I
be,
say that?
yeah, it is uh, yeah, I mean you can, I'm not sure we tell it, is there a good term for it? Like we're trying to do TDD, let the fail test drivers what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you know why?
I am not sure
Yeah.
why.
So the reason for that is to avoid coding speculatively. Um, if you write more code than what the test calls for, then you risk writing code that isn't needed or doesn't really do anything. Like I've worked with developers before, um, and I've noticed kind of a lot of cases where somebody would add some code that is neither needed nor has been tested even manually to see if it works. And like that's just no good. And so if we let our tests drive every piece of code that we add, then we can be sure that every piece of code we add is actually needed and that we've tested it to make sure it works.
Let's see. Got you. Got you.
Okay, so it says
So
private method format called for table.
okay,
Where is that coming
so
from? Can we look at that test?
what it meant is okay, here we go. So there's a methods called table on this table, because so here in the test we initialize the object called table, and in this table we try to call a method called format. And what the
Mhm.
test is shouting out is that, hey, I want to run format method, but it's not declared in your class. So to fix this, we're gonna do I think it's this
By the way, I'm
and
kind of surprised that it said private method called rather than no method.
public. Yeah, I'm surprised as well. Oh, let's take a look
Yeah.
again of the test.
But
Why does it?
also, let's not uncritically accept ChatGPT's suggestion to call this method format. Maybe
Okay,
there's a better name.
okay. Mm,
I
what
prefer
should it
to
be?
code in a declarative style rather than an imperative style.
Okay,
So rather than saying format, I might say something like 2S actually.
true as this.
Yeah, we're taking the value of that table and we're just getting the string version.
Yep. Okay, let's try run again. It should show different error. Wait. Yeah, it should be. I just changed the format to 2S.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the error now? So we
Yeah,
got
now it's outputting like the memory location or whatever.
okay. What's this going on?
Do you
What was
understand
the
what we're
error before?
seeing?
Yeah, I'm not too sure at the moment because I'm not sure, is it because the 2S is uh a use method or use method in Ruby programming? I'm not sure.
There is a
It's trying to
native 2S
compare.
method, and
Yes, yes.
you can see in green there, it shows us the name
Okay.
of the class, which is table, and then what I believe is the memory location. So that's kind of the default output for 2S. So it's
Hmm.
saying we expected this nice formatted output, but instead we just got this default Ruby output. So we'll have to override the 2S method with our own output.
Okay. So shall we add a 2S?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's try. Okay, cool. Now we got new. That is expected because we return nothing from here. So, yep, we got a new. This is much. This is expected. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Next is, okay, do you want to try to confirm it by returning something?
Yeah, why don't we take some of the
Fine.
actual data and output the data, or you
Okay.
can output an arbitrary string first if you want.
Yeah, just to ensure that we got the right. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got a right
okay.
hypothesis for that. Okay, let's do it. Now we need to turn it to this. Um,
Yeah.
okay.
I say let's
Uh,
just grab some of that data and output it any old way and just see what happens.
grab some of the data and output it and see what happens. You mean, really? You mean something like this? Okay, so now we make it into a variable that we can use it anywhere in the function. You mean something like this?
Yeah.
Okay, now we got this, which is expected. So basically return the raw data. Right now, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna try to code it and turn it into the output. So from here, how am I gonna do it? Can I just add ChatGPT for it? I'm okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Let's try. How can I? So I got an array. We got an array of array. I mean, just trying to be if I were to look at it, I got an array of array, and then I'm gonna split it with n with a new line.
Yeah.
In, or
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
gonna
I would
merge
do.
it with a new
I
line.
would get it bit by bit from the way it is now
Is it
to the way we
from?
want it.
Let's try this. Um. Okay, we got another part is the format. I'm not sure why the format is wrong. Not
Yeah, I
maybe
don't
I
know
should
either, but
join with some
probably don't
something
need to
some
worry about that
parameters.
yet.
Okay, cool. We got this part.
Okay. So
Okay.
interestingly, it put like a new line between everything.
Yes.
That's surprising
All
to
right.
me.
I'm gonna at this point I'm gonna just speed it up and I'm gonna try to speed it up. See what it returns. Right. Will be code for me to turn got into aspect. We're gonna just try to speed
Before
it
you
up and
hit
see
enter
what.
on that, Kyle, I have a suggestion. Paste
Yep.
in the test code and the application code and the test failure message, and that'll give it
Okay.
a clear idea of the situation.
Okay. And then, oh, let's see what it
Okay.
what
Did
it
you give it the
returns to
test
us.
output?
Oh yeah, I gave it. So test is over here.
No, I mean the test
Uh,
output.
oh, the test. Ah, I didn't give it. I didn't give it. Yeah, I didn't give it actually. Hmm.
Man, this
Okay,
seems
I
way more
think
complicated than necessary.
yep. I think why it happened is because it's trying to get the previous conversation and it's still hovering around. You can see that there's a headers, but actually right now we don't bother about headers for now. So right, is
Yeah.
it? Isn't it?
How about this? Let's copy
Yeah,
paste that. I think we can still use the same conversation, but let's copy paste the test output and say that we want just enough code to make that failure go away.
cool. That would be great. Let's try. Okay, so I gave the spec, I gave a table file. Now I need to give the error output for now to see if it could give us something. All right, let's try.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't trying to edit our test. Yeah, I think it. Okay, interesting. Uh,
Yeah, I'm skeptical.
yes, same,
Seems like more code than necessary. Okay.
same.
Kyle, how about this? How about let's do some experiments on the command line. Let's open up an IRB console and let's start with that like array of arrays. You can just, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, where it says got, yeah, let's assign that to a variable. And what if you say AR? Yeah, that
I think
is
no.
very interesting.
Yeah. Should I just isolate it?
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I think I understand.
Yeah.
Because like what would we expect? It's having to like how could that possibly work where it gives us a backslash in between each of those three arrays? Like it has no choice but to convert each to a string first or to flatten the array and then perform the join operation.
Hmm. Okay, I get what you mean. So what should we do is that we're gonna convert this to a fat array first. So basically, let's say,
What if we do, well, I don't think we
how we
want to
do.
flatten it because then we won't be able to easily tell what's a row.
So,
How about we do this for a second? ARR.map.
yeah, I think I got what you mean.
Yeah, and then
AR,
we have a row and
I
we
got
can
join.
join the row. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm gonna just assign first. Okay, now we got this, and then which is kind of similar with what we need, and so we need a big space.
Yeah, and
Maybe
then
I
we
need to
can
give two space instead of one for accuracy. Should I? Yeah,
um
now we got two spaces.
okay, and then we
Maybe
can
not. Maybe
join
not. Yeah,
then we can
let's carry
join
on.
that using backslash in.
Yep, yep. Okay.
Yeah, so that's closer to what
Now,
we want.
yes, yes.
So how about let's bring that into our application code.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's carry on from. So now we got data, map, uh, array, array join, two spaces. It would convert the inner array into an array of, yeah. So, and then hold on. Yeah, I'm not sure what name to give for the moment. Uh, looks like let's just carry on for now. Join. Okay. So now I'm gonna run the test again.
Okay.
Okay, we got something close for now.
Yeah. Okay, great. Um, let's do a little bit of refactoring.
Mhm. Uh, okay, I think I kind of got it. Maybe this one. Tree space. Oh, it's still wrong. Oh, it passed.
Oh,
All
it
right, cool.
passes. Okay.
Yeah. Um,
All right. Yeah, let's how about let's commit this since everything passes. And I think it's a good habit to do a git status and then a git diff before every commit to make sure that we're not committing anything we don't intend to.
okay.
Do you want to keep that
Okay.
output.txt?
Nope. I think I'm gonna can I add a git ignore for that? Can I? Because I still want to refer
Sure.
to that file.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, and then I need to. Can I just not commit the tallest building for now?
Okay.
Just for now. Okay, git status. Okay, now we see that it's not in the status now. So this is essentially the minimus files we have interacted with.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, let's add it and git status again. Git diff. Nothing.
Oh, you'll
Okay,
have to do a
let's.
git diff dash dash cached.
Oh, sorry. Hash. Is that what you mean?
Cached.
What? Sorry, I missed it. Sorry, this is
Cached with a D at the end.
hash. Oh, okay, cool. What? Okay, so this is I really actually rarely use this, but what it seems to be telling the differences before and after. It's kind of similar to GitHub
Mm-hmm.
files tab in GitHub. Okay, let's try again. Here we got it, and then git commit. Um, so table. Should I?
Okay.
Okay, okay, and
And then I always
yep.
do a git status afterward just to make sure I have a clean working
Cool.
state. Okay, great. All right, yeah, now let's do some refactoring in table.rb, and then we'll have to wrap up soon. Okay,
Mm,
so no offense, but these variable names are terrible.
yes,
Um,
I agree. I agree.
we can give them some more meaning. So line 7, um, when we do data.map, and we deal with each of those three subarrays individually, what does each one of those subarrays represent?
Um, what does each subarray represent?
Yeah. And maybe we can go back to the terminal and scroll up a little and we can look at it to make it easier to think about. Yeah, even further to where we get like the raw array.
There we go.
Yeah, here we
So
go.
basically,
Yeah, so we have an array of arrays We have a single array with three elements, each of which is itself an array. What does each one of these three arrays represent?
Um, oh, represent row,
Yeah,
each row. So
exactly.
row. At the moment, I can just remove it and just return it for now.
But
But
is it one row or multiple rows?
so it should be S. Yep.
Yeah, and you're right that you can remove that final variable assignment.
All right.
Okay, let's run the test again.
What was the shortcut again? I forgot. But normally I'll just keep clicking at top one.
Are you
The
looking
up
for like Control R? You do Control
control
R
R.
and start typing. Looks like,
It's not this.
are you
That's
doing
fine.
Control R or Command R?
I'll control R. Wait, control R. What does mentor this? Oh yeah, now I
There you
got it.
go.
Control R. Okay, cool. All right, thanks. Okay, there we go. So it passed.
Okay, now let's go back to
Yep.
the code.
Okay.
Okay, now I would suggest that we actually move rows to its own method.
So its own methods. So
Yeah, its own, yeah, private method. And then again, preferring a declarative style, we can just call that method rows.
all this.
Yeah.
Wait, like this.
No, if
Oh
we
wait.
call the
Oh,
method on line 13, if we call it rows, plural, then we
oh
can
okay.
delete line 7 altogether.
Okay, I got you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Interesting. Cool.
Yeah, now let's run that again to make sure we didn't make any mistakes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and then inside of that rows method, we
Yep.
have that argument called AR, kind of cryptic, of course.
Okay.
What
So
does
it should
each element in each of those arrays represent?
column
Well, it's pretty heterogeneous. Some of them are column headings, some of them are values, but like not always the same kind of value. Like it might be a rank or it might be a building name. So we could pick something fairly generic like value.
value. Okay. Cool. Good.
Yeah. But then if I'm not mistaken, let's see, data.map, value.join. Oh yeah, never mind, never mind. Yeah, so let's run the
Okay.
test again and see if that works.
Okay. Let's check it out. Yep. It
Okay,
works.
great. Now if we look at the code, like if we look at that 2s method, it's very easy to understand now. It's just rows.join, new line followed by
Yep.
some spaces. And
Yep.
then rows, I think is pretty easy to understand too.
Yep.
So how about let's commit that?
Okay. Cool. So git status git uh git diff. So we change it. We refactored it to rows and parameter, and we changed the what's that called block variable to
Hmm.
value. Okay, let's commit it. Refactor.
Okay,
Cool.
great.
Okay. Cool. Git diff again or git status again. Okay. Cool.
Okay. And by the way, we used the private method there. Kyle, do you understand the purpose of private methods?
Yeah, so that it can't be used outside of the class. Like I can't use it here. You can see that this is a public method. Like I
Uh-huh.
can't say here and rows for that. I can't do that. That is the difference.
Okay, but why do we want to do that?
Because this rows function is only used within here. So we don't want to use rows outside of anywhere of this class. So it's being abstracted. It's being
Okay.
abstracted from this class.
Okay,
It's one of
but
the
why?
OOP principle. One of the OOP principle abstraction. Uh, Basically we want to hide whatever that is not needed to the user. Like for example, I'm using this laptop, but I don't know how does the inner chips function. Those are all hidden. So those are considered like private methods to this case. Like uh uh yeah.
Okay. Okay, everything you've said is true, but it's like a means to an end. Like what is the underlying reason why we want to hide this and make it so it can't be called outside this class?
Um why? Um I I'm not too sure how to explain it. I would link to the fundamental OP principle abstraction. We
Hmm.
abstract every not just but if you ask deeper why, yeah, I can't pull up from my head right on the
Okay,
spot. Well, yeah.
I can share my view on it. And by
Yep.
the way, it's very easy to find bad education on this topic that tells you the wrong answer. But the right answer is that when you make methods private, it shows you what's safe to refactor. When something's private, it's not going to get called from anywhere outside the class. And so you know that you can change the name of the rows method, you could delete it entirely, you can do whatever you want with anything that's below private, and you know that you're not going to mess up any external clients.
Mm,
So that's one benefit. And the other benefit is that it reduces, you were kind of hinting at this, I think, it reduces the public surface area of this class. And the smaller the public surface area of the class, the easier it's probably going to be to understand.
yeah.
And
I
let me
oh,
say that a
okay.
different way.
Sorry.
The smaller the public API of this class is, the easier the public API is to understand. Doesn't necessarily mean the class is going to be easier to understand because you could have a bazillion private methods in theory, but it at least makes the public API easier to understand.
Yes. From the user perspective,
Hmm.
yes. Yes. Yeah, I kind of linked to the concept like least privilege. In the concept of like, I mean, it it kind of decrease the attacking surface as well. Like in terms of cybersecurity, in the context of cybersecurity, it kind of um protected. Um, how can I put it? Basically, it decrease the attacking surface as yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the
Um,
concept that
mhm.
these are safe, like parameters are safe to be refactored or to be touched on. These are pretty incredible concept because a lot of times we are dealing with legacy systems and we got to be very careful when dealing with the methods. But we see that like, these methods are private, so they are much safer to be refactored than those in public. So yeah, that's a very interesting
Exactly.
concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got to start wrapping up here. My commercial that I try to remember to do at the end of every episode, is that the kind of work that we did here today is very similar to what I do for my consulting work. Um, I work with CTOs and VPs of engineering, a lot of time on technical stuff, a lot of time on testing, sometimes on softer stuff like management and stuff like that. But I also do team training. Definitely do team training on testing and other related stuff. Like you saw today, we talked about private methods and naming and stuff like that. Those are all things that I teach. And dear viewer, if you're interested in learning more about my consulting services, you can find more information at codewithjason.com, where you can also apply to be a client. Um, I also want to say, Kyle, you have my scheduling link. Feel free to grab a time that works for you so we can do this again. I'd love to continue this project that we're working on. Thanks, guys, for joining me. I'll see you next time.
Thank you. See ya.